Okay, Dick, Pauline, Matt, we're in our 6th session. I'd like your personal thoughts to this point.
Definitely feeling more comfortable. Things are still rocky, but things are not rocky. So I can see the horizon if we keep working on it.
All right.
We've made improvement through the time that we've spent, and this being the 6th session. But over the 5 previous and this one, we definitely have made progress.
Matt?
Communication's a lot better. Sometimes it still feels like it could be one-sided or directed from one place, and then the rest of the group sometimes doesn't get the total, I guess, their opinion or whatever they're feeling out. That doesn't happen all the time. It's getting a lot better, but sometimes it still feels like one person could be directing the overall conversation.
Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to highlight some of the positives that I see, because I believe it's important for you to get that kind of support back. I think your communication has been fantastic the past couple of sessions. I've seen a change in the demeanor, which I'm very happy to see. I think it's a positive aspect of the family system. And I think each one of you has taken the time to respect each other's ideas and each other's thoughts. So tonight, during this session, I would like to see if you would be willing to do a role-playing type situation. Would that something
I'm game.
you'd be willing to do?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Well, to explain what we're talking about, we've highlighted that communication is something that you guys deal with on an everyday basis. We know that communication is an important aspect of not only the family system, but everything in your community, in your experience outside of the home. And this activity works on something which is nonverbal communication. And what do you think, or is your interpretation of nonverbal communication?
Just body language.
Definitely body language.
Body language.
You can tell it in the eyes.
So what I'd really like to do is, being that they consider nonverbal communication as 70% of communication, that I would like to kind of change or provide you with some ideas of looking at communication, nonverbal communication, differently. What nonverbal communication is for Dick is different for Pauline, is different from Matt. So when Dick shows a nonverbal communication of happy, it'll be a different communication for you. So nonverbal communication is innate. And it's very subjective for somebody to look at that. So as we go through, we'll discuss a little bit more. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand each one of you a card. Mm-hmm. On that card, it has a bit of a description of a feeling. That person is going to express the nonverbal communication, and each person will take a turn guessing what that feeling is. And then that person will explain what they're actually going through. So the idea is to see that at times we may think one thing is going on through nonverbal communication, but there's a possibility for misconception and the ability for people to for that expression to be misconstrued throughout the family system. So we can start with, who wants to go first? Matt. Matt wants to go first. You hand that down to you so they can't see.
Now you want me to go through the entire?
What I want you to do is I want you to look at the feeling, read your thing, and express that feeling without any words to your mother and your father. And then each one of them just
the feeling.
Just the feeling. At the end, we'll talk about what is actually going on with that feeling. So look at them while you're doing it. Try to show them your feeling. Look in their eyes. Make sure you make eye contact.
You just said it was innate. I'm trying.
either have something on your mind or something's, you're uncomfortable with something. I get the feeling that you're a little perplexed or a little out of sorts.
Pauline?
Uncomfortable, yes. Almost a little anger.
And then Matt, could you?
It was aggravated. Read through the actual.
Yes.
So I was, you're in the kitchen and the toast you were making got stuck in the toaster. It's making you late for work.
Would you have been able to know that that's the reason that he was upset based off just on his nonverbal communication?
That his toaster was,
Right.
no, I would not have.
Okay.
I could tell frustration, but
Yeah, I couldn't tell what the cause was, but I could tell that he was upset. There was something frustrating him.
Now, Matt, aggravation. What does that mean? That feeling to you?
I guess in some cases, I guess like in this, almost a sense of a little bit of helplessness that I can't just go ahead and get done what I need to get done so I can take care of whether it be getting to work or something. But I'm just getting aggravated from a situation that I maybe don't have more control over, so I can. Especially something as simple as this, you know, you do it routine so often that something like this could impact and make a change in your day the way it could.
So when you say that, you get the sense of this being something that can happen in your daily life, and it's a feeling that you could deal with every single day. But without communicating with Matt and understanding what's making him aggravated, there would be a possibility that you may think something else is drastically wrong. When in reality, it's something very simple, but without talking and using words and understanding that person's feelings, you can misconstrue the actual idea. So who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
You go next. Matt, what is your feeling of what Pauline just exhibited with her nonverbal communication?
At first, I would say anger, because that's similar in terms of her faces for anger, but at the end, it just, I guess, almost similar to my aggravation or frustration that she had just had enough.
That?
Something upset her.
Okay. Pauline, could you
That definitely was.
Shocked. You are watching a sporting event, and you're amazing. Your team is amazing, but they are defeated.
Okay.
So again, the idea is how it can be misinterpreted. So if you were entering a situation with Pauline and you saw that face, you might think she's angry or something was wrong, when in reality, she was just watching something, and you can see how it can cause someone to be concerned without communicating. You don't know what that person's really feeling. Our last thing is this is going to be something that, again, the idea behind these cards is I think it's realistic of your everyday life. So this is going to be a situation where I have Pauline and Dick, who are out at a store, and they're interacting, and then we will go through what could cause something to occur when in reality it's not what the person is trying to portray through the nonverbal communication. So the two of you are at lunch. Pauline, you are excited. You bring your sandwiches over. Dick, you're sitting at the table, and Pauline has just brought the two sandwiches over. Pauline, let me see your nonverbal communication. And then Dick, can you show your? Okay. Matt, what do you think's going on in this situation?
I guess my mom seemed just to be happy that they were about to have lunch. I couldn't tell whether or not he was looking as that my mom was missing something, like she forgot something on the sandwich, or it was the wrong order, but he just kind of looked. He just looked like something was wrong, and that my mom should have known what was wrong, and that, why didn't you fix this, and what.
What did you think, Dix? You thought that was what he felt as well? If you could guess a feeling, what do you think the feeling Dick had? Or Richard, or your father?
Just that something was wrong. I guess just kind of, I don't know, questioning. I just that something was off about whether it was the order or that he was expecting her to know that something was supposed to be a certain way, and it wasn't fixed.
So, Pauline, can you tell us what your situation was?
I was actually saying, spending much needed time with your spouse, and you've got 2 sandwiches. And I was actually saying, oh, we're spending time together, let's sit down and eat.
And then, Dick, what was yours?
It was that the sandwiches, there were 2 separate bags that were brought to me by Pauline, and I wasn't quite sure which one was mine.
So
whether they were the same or not the same, and certainly wanted to make sure that we were spending time together, but sort of which one's mine, which one's yours, so that we don't sort of ruin the situation. So we don't ruin the moment,
Right.
Yeah, I wanted the moment to be a good, something good, but there was some uncertainty there.
Okay, so walking up, Pauline, and you're having that feeling of happiness, and you're bringing the sandwich to your husband, and you see that face or that expression, could that change your perception of him being happy?
Absolutely.
Dick, do you think that possibly could affect Pauline's feelings and mood as she comes up to you and you show that?
Absolutely. It was a look of confusion, and like I said, I didn't want the moment to go in the wrong direction. So, yes, absolutely.
So the idea is, essentially, I hope that you can realize, before passing or making judgment based off of nonverbal communication, you stop and allow each other to express that feeling rather than jump to conclusions. A perfect situation where the 2 of you are spending time together could cause a fight or an argument or ruin the moment just because of a nonverbal communication that in the end you don't know. And it's important to have that communication. And it's important to be able to allow the other person to continue to express themselves. So again, what I want you to do is to be able to just slow down, assess the situation, and talk.
It all makes sense.
As you guys have mentioned, some of the biggest things that you deal with is the fact that you don't feel you communicate well. So what I'm trying to do is give you a tool that prevents you from going into situations not knowing anything that's going on and making a judgment without understanding that person's feelings.
Very good.
Actions speak louder than words. And I never really gave it much thought. But it's true.
And I'm not going to say there haven't been times where I've misread a reaction without any conversation or thought or question, and I was off base.
Well, that is the completion of our session.